tense because of the...
Carmen just cropped us in my face. Oh my god. Let's go.
Oh, she brought it in with her.
I know, dude.
And it's the first day of my period. So as we know, if you have ADHD, the problem is never not having ideas. The problem is never not knowing what to do. It's the execution. It's about how to actually do the things that you know you should do, or the things you actually do want to do, or whatever, right? The truth is, there is no one-size-fits-all kind of solution. So today I have for you just 3 simple tips that I use. They can apply to things both big and small. Okay, number 1. I was tempted to call this the foreplay method, but I'm just gonna call it the teaseful transition. How about that? I discovered this a couple months ago. I was having some like weird tooth sensitivity that I normally don't have, and being that I'm a slight hypochondriac, I was kind of freaking out about it. So I got a pack of those baby toothbrushes that have like the ultra soft bristles, as opposed to using my electric toothbrush. So the problem went away. I haven't had the issue since. But what happened in the days after that, I think I found myself having resistance to going back to my electric toothbrush. I think maybe, I don't know, just like sometimes you don't know why you feel the way you feel about anything, right? But I had this resistance. Anyway, I looked down at the counter, I realized I still have these like super soft little toothbrushes, and even though I'm gonna have to brush again because I need to start getting back to my electric toothbrush, I was like, let me give myself like a little pre-brush with this soft baby toothbrush, just to like ease myself into it. And what do you know? Worked like a charm. And in that instant, I had the realization, we've known for how long that ADHDers, like, we have trouble with transitions. And then I start thinking about how there are so many other areas of life where you don't want to just jump to the main event. You know what I'm saying? Oh, again, I can't put this on YouTube. Okay. My point is, if you find yourself not wanting to do something, do the like teaseful foreplay version of it, okay? If you, for some reason, don't feel like flossing, but what if you just had it in your hand, started wrapping it, playing with it for a little bit, and then at some point, start doing it. This happens to me every winter. I find it really hard to get out of my nice, warm, cozy sweatpants that I'm probably wearing and into a shower. Once I'm in the shower, love it, great. I know other ADHDers struggle with this. So something I did the other day was like, all right, I'm not getting in the shower. I'm just gonna like stick my arm in there under the running water. And somehow that just like made it easier to be like, okay, good, okay. Like, I don't know, it's like preparing your brain. It's almost like mental rehearsal. And then things stop being so scary to your brain. You know what I mean? And I realize you can do this with bigger things as well. Like, it's no secret that I'm struggling with this. My first time doing VLOGMAS, and I'm sick, and today's the first day of my period, and I just didn't want to film this video. So what I do instead, I just set everything up as if I was going to film the video, If you're a musician and you're, trying to sit down to like produce a track, you're not going to produce a track. You're just, you're setting up the DAW. You're getting things as if you were, like, tease it. And before you know it, you'll find yourself doing the real thing. So that's tip number 1. Number 2, savor it. This might sound so silly, but it's been such a game changer for me. The other day, I had some clean laundry. I was folding a towel. I've been this way for a long time, but my default is to like rush. So I thought, you know what? I'm not going to rush, but I'm also going to be very like in the moment of folding this towel. As silly as it sounds, it made me realize, it's not the tasks that drain you. Being hurried and flustered about it is what drains me. You know what I mean? It's funny because I actually saw this on TikTok the other day. This old Italian man was saying, like, the secret to life is the calm, slow, intentional gestures. And I've been trying to live by that motto ever since, of just like not rushing. When I chose to slow down and fold that towel very like mindfully, like nicely lining up the corners, and then like something about it was so satisfying, almost invigorating, dare I say. And again, I know this doesn't apply to every area of life and not everyone can afford to move at a snail's pace, but like, why have we let ourselves be so conditioned that we do need to rush through everything, So that was 2. Savor it. Tip number 3. Again, use your discretion for when and where these tips need to be applied. But I'm calling this one shotgun it. I wrote this note to myself and I found it in my Notion recently. I think I'm going to have to start shotgunning my content actually, lol. The ideas generate so fast, I don't know if I can follow any logical structure. As much as I would love for everything to be organized and to be sure that nothing slips through the cracks, if I try to do my plan perfectly, I'm stepping over 20s to pick up pennies. And ain't that the truth? I left YouTube for like 6 months, and what was I doing that whole time? Strategizing. And guess what I have to show for it? Literally nothing. And now I'm back, and I'm doing Vlogmas, and I tried on day 1 to like come up with a plan for the next 25 videos, and guess what? After video 4 or 5, I realized you guys were not really responding. So I'm just like, whatever. I am just rolling with the punches now. I am shotgunning it. Thank you, by the way, to everyone who commented on my last video letting me know, yeah, ADHD tips will work. Thank God that plan was only like a loose plan. Imagine if I had invested all this time, like script out in detail every single video, and then ended up having to scrap the whole thing anyway. You know what I mean? I think because our brains are so chaotic and stuff, we don't trust them and we feel like we have to plan everything out. And I'm not saying there aren't times in life where that's not a good idea, but the way we talk about success is like it's created. Just hear me out for a second. You know, you feel like you hear about people coming out with these companies or these albums or whatever. And I don't know about you, but the way that this information always lived in my brain is like these people like came out with these things and it just was always like that. Does that make sense? Like it feels like you create a successful project out of nothing. And then the other day I got to thinking about this and I was like, you know, I think that that's part of what has held me back for so long. I keep thinking that I need to come out of the gate like perfectly branded, perfectly identifiable and differentiated, and like I need to have my own shtick that's going to make me stand out from everybody else, and like I need to have all these things like right out the gate, because if the first one doesn't go perfectly, then none of them are going to get perfectly and I'm never going to destroy my chance. And that is just so wrong. When you actually go back and look at it, like, people try 1,000 wrong things before they finally get to the right thing. And it just made me realize, like, I need to stop looking at success like I can just manifest it from thin air, when what's really happening is, like, I need to just keep throwing spaghetti at the wall, you know, and going in the direction of, like, what I want, obviously, but then finding what works and realizing that, like, you have to dig for gold. You don't just, like, pull it out of the... Am I making any sense? And that has been so much more helpful. Like, I've been working on some other things while I've been away that I plan to talk more about next year. Things that I've had in the works for actually years, but I've been so afraid that if they don't launch right, if they don't come out of the gate perfect, that I'm screwed. And that mindset has stopped me from, like, playing around and figuring it out. So that's kind of what I'm doing with Vlogmas this year. Every video's been a little bit different, and I haven't yet found the success that I'm hoping to find with Vlogmas. In fact, I'd say it's almost been the opposite. And that is okay, because I'm sure that after 25 days of doing a video every single day, I'm going to stumble across something. I'm going to figure out what I like making, or I'm just going to figure out a whole lot of what I don't like making. I'll tell you this right now, I've already learned. I used to think I couldn't make a good video in a week. Now that I've had to make so many in one day, I could make a good video in a week, you know? There's really no excuse for me to not be consistent after this in the new year. But anyway, I'm getting ahead of myself. That's it. Those are my 3 tips. Try them out. I hope they work, and I'll see you tomorrow.